Hello everyone, welcome to this video about troubleshooting agents. We're going to figure out how you can unblock your agents when they are stuck in trouble and they can't continue with the task that you have assigned to them. To troubleshoot an agent, we need to first understand how an agent makes a decision. So an agent is a system that takes a few different elements into account to make a decision. The first of them is the instructions, which is the blueprint, how the agent works and what its purpose is. Then we have the available tools, which is the interactions it can do and it has available at a specific context in Business Central, like for example on a page. Then we have the virtual user interface, which is the way that the agent sees Business Central to understand what is available and what data is there and what it can interact with. Then we have the task messages, which give it specific context on what to do with its instructions, like which sales order to validate if it's a sales order validator agent. And finally, we have the step history, the previous steps, where the agent can see what it did before to understand also how to continue based on this context. Using all of this, it has to make a decision on what tool it should call, how should it interact with Business Central. So this way, it uses them and it decides, for example, to edit a field where the field is called address and to add the new value, Canal VI 7. Now, in Business Central, we offer a set of different tools that you can use for troubleshooting agents. To demonstrate troubleshooting, I have created an agent whose purpose is to classify sales orders and assign a risk level based on if this sales order contains data that could be risky to the business. For example, wrong data that could cause business losses. I've tried to run this agent, and at the end of its execution, it has requested me for assistance. So basically, the agent is telling me it can't proceed with the task because there is a risk field that it is supposed to fill in, and it couldn't find it in Business Central. So what can I do to figure out what is going on with my agent? Business Central offers some troubleshooting tools that you can use to solve these kinds of problems. First of all, starting from the agent's tasks page, I can see the task itself that has run here, and I can click View Log Entries to see a log of all the steps that the agent has done. Here I can see at the very right that there is an assistance request from the agent, and it has the exact same message as the one that I can see in my task pane. So now I would like to drill into it further and figure out exactly what went wrong there. If I click on View Details, I get a lot of insight into what exactly went into the decision of the agent. At the top, I have the decision itself, information about it, like what the description of it is, like an assistance request, details, and so on. Going down, I can see what the agent saw section. In this section, I see a textual view of what the agent sees as well. So I can understand exactly what things it can take into account when it's making a decision to edit a field or figure out what to do. I see information like which page it was on. So in here I can see that it was in the sales order page, the sales order card specifically. I can see the type of the page. If it is editable, I can see the description of the page and also all the elements on it, like actions and their descriptions, and also I can see fields. Now, if I want, for example, to search and see if there is a risk field here, I can just use my browser search and figure out that there is none, because, I mean, that's what the agent was also complaining about. But I also know from the instructions that it was supposed to fill in a reason field. So let's see if that one is there. So I can do a general fix of the agent that I have created. So if I search for it, I can see that I can find the reason field. And I can see it's also not editable, so I would also need to fix that to unblock my agent and have it continue. Why is the risk field not there? Most likely I have made a mistake on my profile, or I've forgotten to add it via my per-tenant extension that I tried to introduce. So if you have questions about what the agent can see, what is available, everything can be seen here. Let's see the other sections as well. We have what tools the agent had access to. This section gives you the ability to see what capabilities the agent could use at a specific point. So you can see, for example, it has the ability to send assistance requests, but also it can do a host of other things. So it helps you design your instructions. Then I have the what data the agent memorized section, which lets you see what the agent kept in its memory to use for later in the process. So for this one, I asked it to remember important data that it could use to fill in the region. So here we can see it used things like what was the total amount of the sales order to decide if it was risky. Finally, we have the what messages the agent had access to section, which shows you all of the messages that the agent could see up to that point, so you can understand what information it was working with. So this would be, for example, the message I gave it to validate a specific sales order. Finally, on the side, there are two fact boxes that you can use. The first one, the page stack, shows you which pages were open at that point, as the agent needs to open and close pages to navigate between them. So now we can see it started at the role sender and it ended up at the sales order card. And finally, I can see settings about what currency is used and what formatting the agent will use for its messages in case the problem is in the final output message. So summarizing. Through these different sections that we just saw, we can answer different questions that help us troubleshoot agents. We can answer what was on a page, what the properties of the elements were on this page, descriptions, so I can more easily guide my agent towards what to do. I have available tools which let me discover the agent's capabilities, memorize data for figuring out exactly what the agent remembered, the messages that I give to the task, the step history, of course, so I can review what the agent did, and finally, extra information about the settings on the agent. This was troubleshooting for agents. Thank you very much for your time.